This is Rainbow Harmony, here to help you find balance and peace to live a more colorful life. And welcome back to my channel. In today's pick a card reading, we're going to be talking all about how to get out of a difficult situation that you feel stuck in. So, feeling stuck in your situation, here's how to get out, is the theme of today's reading. So, I talk to a lot of you guys in personal readings and also in life coaching. And I've just been so floored and so humbled by all of your stories about, maybe being stuck in a relationship, being stuck living with narcissistic parents, being stuck financially, or maybe just feeling stuck with depression or anxiety. So many of you guys have shared your stories with me, and I feel so blessed to have helped pull cards for so many of you guys in these situations. But it's a little personal for me too, because I am the queen of getting out of stuck situations. I myself have found myself very stuck multiple times in my life, and somehow I've managed to crawl myself out of many pits of despair. So before we get into this reading, I actually just want to open up to you guys and share with you a little story illustrated by the tarot cards about a time that I was really stuck in my life and how I managed to get out of it. By the grace of God or the universe, was able to get out of a very difficult situation. So if you want to hang around and listen to the story, I would be absolutely delighted to share this with you. But if you just want to skip ahead to the personal reading, that's more than fine. A couple disclaimers about the pick a card portion. I really tried to make this as similar to a personal reading as possible. I would suggest to only choose one card when it comes time to choose cards, because each story or each situation is going to be very, very specific. And I have really intended that if you found this reading, it's for a reason, and that you are able to use your intuition to choose the card that you feel drawn to the most. This reading may not be for everyone. Like, you could choose the card and maybe it doesn't resonate with you. If that happens, maybe try choosing another one, or you could listen to all of them and see which one really resonates with you or the advice you like the best. But I just wanted to let you guys know that, because it could be that this is more of a personal reading, may not resonate with everybody. Also, I want to let you know a secret discount code. If you'd like to talk, I offer Zoom chats where we can just talk about your situation. We can pull some cards. We can brainstorm and see how can you get out of this. I also offer video recorded readings, and I also do coaching as well. I just had 2 spots open for coaching. So if you want to work with me more one-on-one about your situation and, get some homework and just have someone hold you accountable, I'm available for that as well. And you can get 10% off anything on my website if you just enter in the discount code STUCK. So all you have to do at checkout is just enter in the code STUCK, 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 and that will take 10% off your order. And this is a secret discount code. I'm not going to mention it anywhere else on the channel. It's just for you if you happen to be here and you're interested in a reading, and it will be valid until the end of February. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to tell you guys a story of a time in my life that I was really, really stuck. And this one in particular was really frustrating because I had already worked myself out of a situation and became unstuck, and then I got stuck again. So many of you guys who've watched my channel for a while, you might know the story of how I first learned about vision boarding and law of attraction. I was working at this job that I felt very stuck in. I worked there for 13 years, and I didn't really have a lot of education. And at this job, I was a healer. I did physical therapy with people, and I'd worked with people in a pool. I taught swim lessons. I worked with kids. I did lifeguard trainings. I did water aerobics and arthritis classes, things like that. So I worked there for a very long time, and eventually I just got so overwhelmed. I started getting up earlier, started making a vision board, realized I wanted to move to Los Angeles and work more on my fashion goals. So fast forward to me living and working in Los Angeles. It wasn't perfect. But I was really happy, to be honest, I was feeling really great and I was getting work as a fashion stylist and a makeup artist and a creative director. Money was starting to come in and I was connecting and networking with all these incredible people. And so things were going really great, all things considered. I will admit that during that time, I got really into the law of attraction. I really started getting into more like spiritual stuff. Like I was watching like Infinite Waters. I was watching Till Swan. I don't really watch Till Swan anymore for various reasons, but I was just learning a lot and I was connecting with the tarot and stuff. And so I started doing like even more intensive vision boarding and chants and spells. And like I started realizing that I wanted to get out of LA because I felt really, really trapped there and I wanted to see more of the world. So my vision for wanting to travel started to grow then. I started like putting more things on my vision board about traveling and going to different places and maybe another big move. But in the middle of all this, my partner got in a car accident and it just completely screwed us over, like financially and otherwise. It just paralyzed us. And then a couple days later, my bird died. And I've told that on the channel before, but the process that happened after was so hard because we had to move back to the suburbs. And, remember, I was living there and working that job for years, and I worked so hard to leave and to go to LA. And it just seemed at the time the only thing we could do was just go back there because we had help and support. We had friends we could live with, and we could recover from like the car accident and everything that happened. And so I was just really frustrated because I had just gotten my fashion career going and things seemed to be looking up. Now, at the same time, I was also going through, it's kind of a long story, but I was recovering from abuse. I realized that I'd come from a really abusive situation and moving to LA and finally being away from that. Just, a lot of times once you feel safe in your surroundings, your mind will tell you, okay, it's safe enough now for us to process this. Like for me, every time I would go through a trauma or I would get in a breakup or something like that, I would tend to just kind of stuff it down and just keep moving forward and just kind of girl boss my way out of the situation. I was used to just kind of letting things kind of roll off my back, like I'm strong, I'm not going to let things get me down, just stay positive kind of thing. And so when I got to LA and finally like I had my peace and I was like alone, I wasn't living with roommates anymore and my situation was getting better, I started just kind of breaking down because a lot of things were coming up. I was spending a lot of time journaling, realizing things, and I made some decisions to like cut some people out of my life that were like really, really toxic. And I guess I'll just tell you guys, honestly, it doesn't really matter. Like it was my family. And so, so we moved back to the suburbs closer to where my family was, which gave me a lot of anxiety, kind of caused me to start breaking down emotionally. And I just felt like I had lost everything. Like I had worked so hard to get away and get my independence and start healing and like getting things moving forward. But here I was, again, stuck in a situation. I felt stuck emotionally. I felt stuck financially. I just felt like, how am I going to come back from this? And I knew at that point, like I didn't want to go back to LA because it was kind of a blessing in disguise to have this excuse to be able to get out of there. And kind of start over and rethink my goals. But it was hard, I kind of felt like I failed. Maybe I jumped the gun too soon. Am I going to be stuck in this suburb town forever? It felt like a vortex. Like, why do I have to come back here? Why does everything keep pulling me back here? So here I was, it was like a death situation, literal death, the death of my sweet, sweet bird. That bird was like everything to me. And the death of this situation I'd worked so hard to make happen. And this was literally me. I was kind of stuck with my demons. I was struggling with CPTSD, nightmares. If any of you guys have PTSD or CPTSD, you'll know that it's very, very debilitating. And it was just getting bad, At the same time, I had started this channel. I'd started this channel when I was in LA and I just was getting really into tarot and healing, of course, and I wanted an outlet to share just maybe kind of some things I'd been through, and also I wanted to just help other people because I realized there's got to be other people out there who are like me, who basically just had to do everything on their own, didn't really have a lot of help growing up, are recovering from abusive situations, people who are empaths who just tend to attract narcissists like a moth to a flame, people who are trying to better their lives and use their use their personal power to try to overcome it, people who are on a healing journey, people who are starting to connect more with the magic and the mystery of life. And so, it was kind of funny, like, going through this breakdown, but I felt like Rainbow Harmony was my outlet because I was able to use a lot of what I was going through to help others and to be able to just have this outlet for myself to talk about things. And so it's kind of where my channel started. But anyways, there I was back in the suburbs, got on my feet a little bit, got into like a new apartment, still no contact with my family, trying to just heal. And, but it was rough. I realized, what, I can't get through this alone. And so I had to reach out for help. And so this is the Hierophant. This represents the therapist that I started working with, who is this incredible woman who taught me so much about the healing process, taught me so much about CPTSD, helped me understand more about what I was going through, listened to me, let me tell my story. The first time I ever really told anybody what had happened to me, because it was like this deep, dark secret that I had kept like my whole life of, everything that had happened. And it was incredible to finally just open up and tell somebody my story and to learn just more about the healing process, that, that it wasn't my fault, and just how to recover, because I was at this point where I was just paralyzed with CPTSD, depression, anxiety. And then you add on top of that, I also have ADHD. And so it was just making my life just a living nightmare. And so with her, I was able to understand more what had happened. I was able to like see things from a different perspective, which is why I put the hangman here, because this card symbolizes like kind of pulling back from life a little bit and being able to just look at things from a different perspective. Because really that's all you need. I felt like I was hopeless. I felt like, because all these things happened to me, that I really was paralyzed. I felt like a victim to my circumstances. And one of the most difficult things that I learned with my therapist was that I had to take responsibility for my life. It doesn't mean that I had to take responsibility or accept what happened to me, but she told me, like, this is your life, and like what you do from here on now is up to you, and you can come back from this, but you're going to have to focus, you're going to have to work hard, and you're also going to have to make yourself and your self-care and your healing a priority. And you can't keep putting all this shame and blame and guilt on yourself. You've got to learn how to see past that and take the pressure off. And so anyways, it was so incredible working with this woman and everything that she taught me, and it really did help me rehabilitate. I kind of just took a break from everything, and then so I had a lot of time to heal. And then I kind of made a plan from there. Like, she helped me realize what I wanted. I realized, what, I really want to travel. Like, I've heard about these people that are digital nomads where they will have like an online business and they'll travel the world. And I just really want that. And at the time, my Rainbow Harmony was starting to make a little bit of money. And also I was still going with my fashion career. Funny enough, moving out to the suburbs, there was a lot of beautiful locations there, and I had like a bigger home because, in LA you can have a small space, but in the suburbs you can have a bigger space, for the same amount. And so I was able to convince a lot of my friends and people I had like networked with to come out to the suburbs, to come out more into nature and to do these beautiful fashion shoots. And I was still able to commute into LA for jobs. But be able to retreat and still do my healing. So I struck a balance, and I really started to use my artistic skills to start saving money. And, it was really just time to be realistic. Like, I had to make a plan, of how much money do I need? What is a realistic date, that a goal I should set for when I want to leave? I had to talk to my partner to make sure that they were on board and they could also line up their situation to be able to work remotely as well. And I just started planning everything. So yeah, I was able to use my artistic skills, my gifts of empathy, my gifts of intuition, my gifts of healing that I had used all those 13 years at that other job. I always tell my clients, sometimes some of these jobs that you have or these paths you take or the education that you get, it can feel really arbitrary, but then a lot of times you get to this point in your path where you look back and you realize, oh my God, like that was so perfect. Everything helped perfectly. Like that situation prepared me for this. So I realized all those 13 years of working as like a teacher and a healer prepared me for this job that I had. All of the time that I spent being artistic and creative and running my own business helped me to have a foundation for starting another business. And so I used my artistic skills. I doubled down on my gifts and my talents, and I made a plan and I stuck to it. And I did just a little bit every day. For me, it was more about consistency. It was more about getting the momentum going and keeping it going versus 8 hours a day of like hustle. It really, little things add up over time. Adding $100 to my savings there, $20 to my savings there, while also focusing on my healing, my therapy, taking good care of myself. It was really just about balance. And before I knew it, I had this little nest egg saved up. I had these skills that I was able to travel the world with. I had a business that was thriving, so did my partner. And I was able to take that leap of faith and get that ticket to Paris is the first place I decided to go. I was able to take a calculated risk and be able to go off on my journey. And now I'll tell you guys, I don't know, it's been like 5 years or 4 or 5 years that I have been traveling the world now and living in infinite abundance. And I've been so many incredible places. I've been to Paris, I've been, France, I've lived in all these places because I do the slow travel method where I will live in each place for 3 months, at least 6 months or a year. So I've lived in France, I've lived in India, I've lived in Egypt, I've lived in Spain, I've lived in Georgia, the country. A lot of people don't know where that is, but I lived there actually for quite some time. I lived in Croatia, I lived in Montenegro, I've lived in Italy. I feel like I'm forgetting some. Oh yeah, I've lived in Costa Rica and now I'm in Mexico. And so it's been absolutely incredible. I was able to fulfill my dream and it wasn't as hard as I thought. It really wasn't very hard. I just needed a clear vision of what I wanted and I needed to take those action steps and allow also the universe to bring some opportunities to me. I had to pay attention to the signs and the synchronicities, and I also had to take good care of myself and work on releasing the past, and also to be humble enough to reach out and ask for help. There were many people who helped me along my path. So if you're stuck in a situation, I want you to know that there's always a way out. And sometimes, I say this a lot, it's frustrating, but the way that things work sometimes in this life is that suffering and pain can actually be the one thing that will help us to create change. I'm not going to thank what happened to me, the abuse I had, and all that horrible stuff I went through, but if it wasn't for the fact that my partner got in a car accident and that my bird died, I don't know if I would have had that chance to go back and slow down and connect with my therapist and be able to really reframe my goals and focus on the bigger goals. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I could have gotten stuck in LA forever. Like, really, I'm so glad I got out of there. Sometimes you manifest what you want and you like it for a while, but then you can outgrow that too. We outgrow situations, we outgrow circumstances. It happens. So I learned to let my dreams and my goals kind of grow. I learned to grow with them. I learned to let them evolve. I learned to refine my vision. And also I learned patience. Because as I say a lot on the channel, Rome wasn't built in a day. And this all took time, and there were many times I thought I'm going to be stuck forever. I'm never going to get out of this. I had to learn how to love and embrace the situation I was in. Another thing I say on the channel a lot, because it's from my own experience, is oftentimes you can't manifest the next situation or the level up until you learn to master where you're at. So really it was through mastery of the situation I was in, which is moving back to the suburbs, kind of living in some random ass neighborhood, just kind of everything being taken away, financially ruined. I resisted that situation for a long time. I spent many days in bed just crying. I was so upset. I felt broken. And, after I had time to just kind of like be depressed and release that, I was able to like reach out and get help and learn to see the advantages of my situation. I was able to realize, oh, this is actually an advantage. Like I can actually build from here. Sometimes when you've hit rock bottom, the only place you can go is up. Sometimes that's a great place to start your business or build your business or start over. So, or to begin again. I love the Fool in the tarot because a lot of times we tend to put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and the Fool is a card that's all about literally just being a fool for life, being a fool for love, taking a risk, being young again, being youthful, because when you're young and you're not so jaded by the world, you're able to have ideas and dreams and just do things and be a little bit impulsive. And sometimes we lose that side of ourselves as we go through life, and we find all these ways to just convince ourselves that we could just never do the thing, or it's never gonna happen. Sometimes it's not until you do this healing work and you give yourself a chance again that you're able to take the load off and the burden off, the pressure off, and let your intuition guide you. What's meant for you is never gonna pass you by. It's never gonna pass you by. There's always a way. And I've had even more rock bottom moments that I'm still not comfortable sharing yet here on this channel, but I'll tell you that whatever your situation is, no matter how dark the time is, no matter how stuck you are, where you're coming from, I have heard stories of people who have made it out. I talk to those of you guys every day who are not giving up, who are still taking the next step, who are still doing the healing work, allowing yourself to go through the process and not giving up on your life and the beautiful potential you have. It's so inspiring to me. It's why I keep coming back and uploading on this channel, even if though for some reason I'm not getting lots of followers and YouTube freaking demonetized me. I don't even care. Like, I'm here for you guys. I love this channel. I love what we've built here. And I love that this is a safe space for us to be able to just talk about life, everything that we're going through. So anyways, I'm going to move to the pick a card reading, but I wanted to say thank you so much for listening to my story. And let me know below if you can resonate with it or if it helped you in some way. I just want, you guys to know I'm a human too, and I've been through a lot of shit, and, it's not impossible to get out of the situations you're in. There's many reasons why I'm very passionate about this work that I do. And, I want to thank you guys for keeping me going every day, for feeling safe enough to share your stories with me, because they inspire me so much. And I hope that hearing this inspires you too. So if you're ready to receive this reading, simply choose a card that you feel drawn to. And today I'm using this beautiful deck called the Ethereal Visions Tarot. I'm so excited to be using it. One of my clients, Natalie, actually purchased this for me. It's so beautiful. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much, Natalie, for the gift. I can't say thank you enough. I'm just loving this deck. So hold in mind your situation, the circumstance that you feel stuck in, and I want you to choose a card you feel drawn to the most. Number 1, number 2, or number 3. And once you've chosen, head down below to the comments or to the description where the timestamps are posted, and you can just click on your timestamp and instantly be fast forwarded to your part in the reading. And I will see you for your reading soon. For those of you guys who choose number 1, what we're going to do first is just see what is this situation, because that will help me to understand it better. And then we're going to pull cards and just brainstorm, how can you get out of this? What needs to happen? What's the next step for you? So the card that we're getting is the 7 of Wands. And this is a card that symbolizes obviously challenges, but somebody who really feels like they need to defend their position or their situation. So there could be outside forces or other people that just keep coming and trying to knock you down. I'm going to pull some clarifiers just to get a little bit more specific here, but Yeah, I mean, it's clear that you're feeling stuck because you feel like you have to defend yourself and you don't really feel that safe, you know? Hmm. You're having trouble choosing a path and sticking to it because it might be that you're like, okay, I'm going to go to school for this, or I'm going to start a business with this. And then before you're even able to get on the path, you're like, oh, well, I probably can't do that because it's going to cost a lot of money, or I don't know how I'm going to move to that place to make it happen. Or maybe you have parents or a friend or somebody who's telling you, like, oh, like, how, I don't, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? It seems almost like your programming is wired against you, which happens, a lot of times from just society or how we're raised, maybe toxic parents, whatever. We actually will be in this situation where our inner critic will be just so intense and so rough and will just start beating us down. So it's like you're afraid to try something new, you're afraid to get out of your box, you're afraid to do something different because you're like afraid you're going to have to defend yourself. You're afraid that you're going to have to basically explain to people, like it constantly in your head. When you think of ideas, you're thinking more like, how will I explain this to my parents, or how will I explain it to my friends, or how will it look to other people, because it would be so different than what everyone else is doing. So what you've been choosing is kind of stuff that's just safe. You've just been kind of going through the motions in your life, maybe working a job or living in a situation that's just more like expected of you. You've been just trying to keep your head down because you really don't want to face that. You don't want to have to answer any questions. You don't want to have to explain yourself. So it makes me think like maybe you were raised in a situation, or constantly throughout your life, you people were questioning you and made you feel like you constantly had to explain yourself, and you're just fucking done. You're just like, I can't do this anymore. I'd rather just kind of keep to myself and keep my head down, not ruffle any feathers, not make this, do what's expected of me. So it could also be that it's been laid out for you from a very young age. This is what's expected of you. And even if you have loving, supportive parents, it could be that like your education system and your society is just like, this is what's expected of you. Fall in line. But I'm seeing the seer card here. So this could mean that you're somebody who actually does have psychic gifts, or like spiritual gifts or healing gifts. It could also mean that you have artistic gifts, that you came here to like be a light worker and help uplift the vibe of this planet, maybe live a different life, maybe explore a different path. Like maybe like your career isn't even supposed to be a big part of your path. Maybe it's supposed to be more just about tasting things and trying life and falling in love and traveling and exploring. I don't know, like you might want a really alternative lifestyle. You might want to just forget about pressuring yourself so hard to do certain things, and you just really want to feel the good life. I see what you want here. You want to get away. Like this is the Fool. We talked about this earlier in my little story I told you guys. This is about like you want to take a risk. You want to do something crazy. You want to do something you've never done before. You have big ideas. Like you might appear very normal and like you're falling in line to everybody else, but the truth is in your head, you've got these big fantasies, maybe of fame and fortune, or going off somewhere far, like writing a novel, or perhaps being a star. You actually really do want to put yourself out on a limb and try something, but you're overwhelmed. You don't even know where to start, and you're smart. You know that you're going to have to take classes. You're going to have to start at the bottom. That you're going to have to just maybe even let people see you, starting from the bottom and taking that risk. And you're just embarrassed because you're like, if they see me and they know that I'm taking my first art class or my first, singing lesson, or if they see me putting up my first TikToks to try to be like a beauty influencer or whatever, then they're going to think I'm dumb, and it's going to be, it's really in your head. What are they going to think? Oh my God. So you have just been staying in your cave. You've just been kind of hiding from life. It might also be that you're very introverted and you need a lot of time to kind of recover when you're out around a lot of people. So getting on your true path is actually going to require you at a safe pace, You're never going to be pushed to do something you can't, but you're basically going to be pushed to get out of your comfort zone a lot. So I think you're smart. You know exactly how to get on this path. You know exactly what it takes, but it's just, you just really terrified that like somebody's going to stop you, or that you're going to have to defend yourself, or that it's not going to work out. Like, you want nothing more than to just have fun. You want to finally see like the finished product of your work. You keep getting on a path and then getting off it, getting on the path and getting off it. It reminds me of somebody who maybe, I'm just going to throw out a random example, but perhaps you decided that you're going to be like let's say a tarot reader or a life coach, or somebody who's doing healing work. And so you like started a profile, and like 1 week you banged out a bunch of readings, and you like gave this amazing, speech, you like made a cool video, but then you disappeared for 3 months because you overthought every single thing you posted. It was a lot of work. It took a lot out of you. And like, maybe one of your friends started following you, and you're like, shit, now they're watching. Like you just feel, you get on the path and then you like get off it because you're overwhelmed, and it's just the whole thing. But honestly, you want nothing more than to just get away from it all, be happy, have fun. Really, I think this is going to be the focus right now for you, to try to bring this into your life right now. If you watched my story in the beginning of this, I was talking about how a lot of times in order to master the situation, and basically a lot of times in order to move to the next point or to get what you want, you have to master the situation you're in right now. And so let's brainstorm with you. What needs to happen? How can you get out of this situation where you feel like you just can't stay on the path? You're feeling defensive. Okay, so I'm really being drawn to this first card right here. Accept your mistakes. Maybe you started a beauty blog or something, and you did that for like months, and you told everybody about it, and then you just kind of stopped doing it. So you're feeling like everybody saw you start this thing, and then you stopped, and now you changed your mind again, and you're just like, you have a new idea. You got a little bit of experience of putting yourself out there, but you're just like, what if I stop again? What if everybody sees me start something and give up? I just want to hide. I don't want anybody to know what I'm doing. Like, your guides are just saying, accept your mistakes. Maybe you went to school and all the way up until the last semester, and then you just dropped out. And then like your parents were mad because they paid for everything, and everybody just thinks you're a failure since then. Or so, I don't know. Like, your guys are just, accept your mistakes, Sometimes you do some stuff that you just wish you could take back, or that just doesn't really, when you look back on it, you're like, my whole life would be different if I just would have finished that thing or done this. But, it's time to stop punishing yourself. What happened was meant to happen, and the experience you got from that situation is priceless. It can never be taken away. So accept your mistakes and stop branding yourself as somebody who just fucked up and that's why you're in your situation. Yes, you need to take responsibility for where you're at, but you got to realize that you do have a lot of power to move forward, from where you're at. The next thing is change your patterns. I see that you were in that pattern of like, finally you get so fed up that you're just like, this is the week or this is the day I'm going to change everything. And then you just do way too much work in one day or in 1 week or in 1 month. And then you burn yourself out. And then it's another 6 months before you're able to like do anything again. And over time, that causes you to not be very consistent. And it causes you to, basically be really inconsistent. And it's hard to build momentum and get things moving forward. So you need to focus instead on, when you get those bursts of energy, to just kind of hold back a little bit actually, and just do one little thing, to try to use the little burst of energy that you get every day to be able to accomplish little tiny things. Like for me, doing this channel as an example, there would be some days where I would just crank out 5, 6 personal readings because I had energy, but then it would blow me out. For 2 weeks, I would have psychic burnout, and I wasn't able to do any work or post anything on the channel for like 2 weeks because of it. So I had to learn that, to pace myself, to just do a little bit every day to get on a really good schedule with my self-care so I could focus more on just being more frequent and more consistent. So, listen to yourself, listen to your body. I also feel like your health has something to do with this. If you're looking for the first step, I would say work on your health. Make sure you're getting good sleep, drinking lots of water, eating healthy, a little bit of yoga, stretching, breathing, a little meditation, make an altar, make some time for yourself to pray a little bit, whatever. And that's going to change a lot in your life because it could just be that you're feeling also physically burnt out. So yeah, your guides are like, change your patterns, little things you need to work on to get out of this situation. And then next they're saying cut the cords, because your inner child is struggling with the voices from the past that are telling you you're not good enough, you're not going to measure up, you're not going to make the cut, you're just going to quit again. Oh, look at you starting from the bottom. That's so pathetic. Whatever it is, that your, inner critic or the voices from the past are telling you, that's what's keeping you from being able to just take that risk and stay consistent. So I definitely see that, one of the best ways to cut the cords that I talk about all the time on the channel is a method that's worked really well for me. And I'll tell you, I tried everything. I tried every healing method under the book. I got weird with it at some points, trying different healing methods to just try to help myself find peace, And the one thing that's really helped me is writing letters to people from the past. Now, don't send the letter. It's just for your healing and your eyes only, but you're just going to write everything that you need to say. So for instance, let's say it's your mother who was really harsh on you and was really judgmental every time you wanted to do something spiritual or artistic with your life. And they just expected you to be on one path, be a doctor or something. You're like, no, I want to be a singer, Write a letter to them and just be like, you know what, it really hurt me how that happened. And ever since then, I've just felt paralyzed and I'm worried what you're going to think and do. But I'm not going to try to please you anymore. This is my life. Tell them off, whatever you got to say. And then take that letter, rip it up and burn it or throw it away. And know that a real healing is going to take place from that. You might need to write lots of letters, hundreds of letters until you feel like you've released it. But part of you just might feel voiceless, like you never got to stand up for yourself. You never got to defend yourself. You never got to speak up for yourself. And this is all throat chakra stuff I'm realizing with you. This is all throat chakra stuff. And once you create an outlet for yourself to speak this, to heal this, then the load is going to be taken off your shoulders and you're going to feel like you can express yourself more with your art, your creativity, with being able to make decisions that are in alignment with you. And I want, this also might be cutting people out of your life. If you have a really close friend who the one thing you guys bond over is just how shitty your lives are, and, you're always complaining about stuff together and you feel like you're going to disappoint them or let them down if you go off and have a glow up, and that might be a person to distance yourself from, cut the cord with. It can be hard. Sometimes you're called to let go of certain people on your path so you can move forward. So just some things to think about. I want to see what you have to look forward to on the other side now. Stay with me here for a moment because I just want to make sure I lift you up. I know that this is a lot to do, but it's just some stuff to think about. These are the cards I drew for you. My camera cut out for a second. But yeah, I know it's a lot to think about. But this is what you have to look forward to. Your guides are saying you are very, very gifted. And in fact, this whole reading, you might have had one thing on your mind, one path you want to take, or one big desire that's been laid on your heart. And your guides are telling you to trust your intuition. They're like, yes, that is the thing that's meant to be for you, that you're going to move forward with. Trust yourself, trust your desires. I always say that your desires are the compass that lead you in the direction of your life mission and soul purpose. There's a reason that you desire the things that you desire, especially if it's a desire that you have like with pure intentions. So trust that. And like we mentioned earlier, you are going to have to be a little bit more extroverted and put yourself out there, but they're saying that this is going to lead to possibilities and also friendship, because when you show up as your authentic self, then basically give permission for other people to do the same. And naturally, you will attract your soul family and true people that are meant to be in your life. And over here, we have the sun. The sun is the most happy and rewarding, uplifting card in the whole tarot. It's a very positive message that everything will be merry, everything will be bright in your life. Good times are coming. So you have to promise me that you're not going to quit 5 minutes before the miracle. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really hope that this resonates with you. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell. And I will see you next time. Peace out. For those of you guys who choose number 2, what we're going to do is we're going to look and see like how exactly you feel stuck right now, like what your situation is. And then from there, we're just going to get some tips on how to like remove blockages, what your first step is. Yeah, let's see how can we get you unstuck from this situation. So we got the Empress here. I'm going to take a moment to draw some clarifying cards to ask how exactly are you stuck? Like what's going on in your situation? There we go. So we're getting the 10 of Fire here. This is a really tough card. You know, I just felt all of a sudden so heavy when this came out. I feel like maybe I'm feeling a little bit of what you're going through here. You're dealing with a lot of resistance right now. It's not like you're lacking inspiration. This is the Empress. You're a person who's incredibly creative. I would say that you're like a Renaissance person. You know, have you ever heard that phrase, the Renaissance man or the Renaissance woman? The person who, you know, whatever they touch turns to gold. Anything that you try, you can pick it up really fast and you're really good at it. So whether it's like knitting or sewing or singing or graphic design or photography, or dancing or writing, you know, whatever it is, you can do really well at it. You just learn things so fast. It's like a superhuman gift that you have. But it's like you're facing a lot of resistance. You've tried so many paths, and it just seems like every path that you've tried, it just doesn't work out for you. Like things fall apart, doors are shutting all around you. Maybe you give up a little fast. You know, you have this fear of loss too. You're afraid like if I really follow through with something or do it 100%, then that means that I'm gonna fail. And I feel like you put these projects out in the world. You put these energies out in the world. But then, and you are consistent too. And things start to take off for you, but then you self-sabotage it. Because it's easier for it to be you that's self-sabotaging it than it actually be like to suffer the actual loss if it was to fail on its own. This could also be in relationships. This could be that you fall in love with somebody, you are in this really great energy with them, but then you find reasons to pick them apart and to end it because you keep thinking maybe there'll be something better, or, you know, they're going to get bored of me eventually. I might as well just walk away. Maybe you cheat on them, or you move on to somebody else. You always got someone lined up. You know, you got big fear of abandonment, big fear of rejection, and it causes you to like end things before they actually really want to end. So this is causing you to feel a lot of oppression, you know. This is a message that you're like basically sitting on your energy, sitting on your life force. You know, since you're holding it so tight, it can't flow. Your guides really want you to examine the area in your life that could be stagnant. You have nothing to lose if you slowly start to dissolve these inner tensions. And it's actually being suggested that perhaps you start this path through physical exercise, relaxation, and meditation. So before throwing yourself into another project, burning yourself out again, and starting the cycle all over, you really need to get to peace with yourself, because it's not a matter over whether or not you have enough education or you have enough gifts. Like, you have the full package here. You really do. You have everything you need. So you don't need more classes. You don't need more schooling. You don't need more education. You don't need more certifications. I feel like there's some of you guys that are here that, like, that's what you fall back on. Maybe you need to just do nothing for a while and force yourself to kind of just sit with yourself for a little bit. So exercise can be good because it's going to get your vessel healthy. The deep relaxation, I'm talking about like deep relaxation, and maybe a little bit of meditation. If you really want to take me up on this meditation advice, I would suggest going on to Jason Stevenson's channel, and or maybe just going on YouTube and typing in Jason Stevenson Meet Your Future Self meditation, because there is an incredible meditation where you basically meet your future self. You kind of see what they're like, what they're doing, get advice from them. It's helped me a lot whenever I felt like I didn't know what to move forward with or what project to really double down on. I love that meditation. So you can try that. It could help. But the message here is that, what you're really struggling with is that you're having trouble moving ahead because you keep holding your own energy back. These circumstances are actually reflecting your inner resistance. There is something inside of you that's been refusing to be expressed, something you're really afraid to show people. And that's why you do everything but, or you leave relationships once you start to finally get vulnerable. What inhibitions are stopping you from flowing yourself freely forward? In the long run, these blocked energies can cause gloominess, like a lack of courage, a sense of meaninglessness, depression. So your guides want you to be aware of this cycle. It's time for you to let your life force flow through you as it wants to, without being afraid of the consequences. And that also might mean to just let natural consequences happen. Sometimes things will fail, relationships will end, situations won't work out as you planned, but that's always going to lead you to the next thing. It's always like a stepping stone that's going to take you to the next situation. So your guides want you to follow through because you have everything you need. You just need to kind of face this fear of resistance. Some of you guys just might feel paralyzed and just not even able to get these energies out into the world. So your guides are telling you that they really admire you because they're like, damn, like, you are so gifted. You're the Renaissance man or the Renaissance woman, the Renaissance person. They just want to see you be devoted. They want to see you not give up. They want to see you keep going. And it could be that you've been burning yourself out. That's why they're saying the first step would just to be like to deeply relax. Don't worry about moving forward. Don't feel like you need some project to tell everybody about or some story to tell everybody about what you're doing in your life right now. Lie if you have to. Tell people it's none of their business. Change the subject and make your goal right now just working on the health of your body, relaxing and kind of meditating and just drawing your energy back to you. And from there, you'll feel so relaxed and so rested that you'll have the energy you need to see, and the courage and the strength to see something forward to its natural completion. So let's see if there's any more messages for you. What needs to happen? What can be done to help you get unstuck from this situation? Let's see. Oh, leave your comfort zone. You've definitely got a comfort zone. Maybe you're really comfortable with the planning process and with going out and buying all the materials and supplies and like learning how to do the thing and like putting it together. But then when it comes to actually like starting the web shop and marketing it and like putting yourself out there to sell, your product or your art, that's where you give up. Maybe you're really good at like the dating phase of flirting, hanging out, falling in love, but the actual deep relationship consistency, sticking with it thing is hard for you. You know what I'm saying? So your guides are like, you need to leave your comfort zone and take a step beyond what you've done before. Do get out, get out of the comfort zone. You're really good at the beginning, but they want you to get better at the middle. Whew, this one's hard. Have you ever been abused? It could be that there's bigger triggers behind this whole thing. I've been abused, and I can actually relate to what you're going through a lot. For me, it's made me feel really afraid to be judged by other people, if that makes sense. I want to hide from others. I don't want them to see me. Sometimes you just want to curl up in your own ball and just kind of hide from the world because you're afraid you're going to get hurt again. And so your guides are telling you, despite what's happened, you're worthy to let people see you, to show up authentically, and to not worry what people will think, because the right people are going to embrace you, all the different sides, even if there's sides of you that are a little different or strange or weird or whatever. Maybe you're like an artist and your art is like really unique or something, and you're just afraid how it's going to be received if you really put it out there. But, you're going to do so amazing on this path. I really see that. This is a hard one. This card's always like, whenever I get it. Are you ignorant? I just feel like that word ignorant, ignoring something, it could mean like, don't ignore the fact. I see this as like, don't ignore who you are. Don't ignore the fact that you've always been this artist, that you've always been this expressive person, and don't let anybody take that from you. You truly have these beautiful gifts that want to be seen in the world. So let's pull you some final messages, just anything else you need to consider. I'm going to try to leave this on a positive note and see look, I flipped this over, relax. Any final messages from your guides? They're saying you need to relax soon, like today, like this. Once again, your action step forward. This might not be your comfort zone. Maybe relaxing isn't your comfort zone. Maybe you feel like you need to keep yourself busy. You burn yourself out. That's why you can't take these projects all the way. So maybe the next couple of months, don't work on anything and just work on you. Work on relaxing your body, your mind, your soul. They're also saying that you're going to be reunited with your confidence. Your confidence has been really shot, and I feel like it's just because your energy levels are being depleted. You need time to kind of grieve and process what you've been through. And so they're saying through the relaxation, soon you will be reunited with your confidence. And from there, things are going to be moving forward. Our confidence levels can kind of waver at periods in our life. I feel like you're going to get back to yourself, if that makes sense. Like maybe you would, if you were to talk to me or someone, you'd probably be like, I just don't feel like myself lately. I have a feeling that you're going to be feeling like yourself soon. If you're tired, learn how to rest, not quit. That's your message for today. So I hope that this resonates with you. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Let me know if this resonates with you in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that notification bell. And I will see you next time. Peace out. For those of you guys who choose number 3, we're going to look into how are you stuck? What's going on right now in your situation? And then we're going to pull some cards and see what are some action steps for you. How can you get out of this? So we're getting the 10 of Wands. This is such a tough card. This is actually somebody who's feeling really, really burdened. So the first thing that's coming up is time. Maybe you're like a single mom, or you're somebody that like you have to get your ass up really early to like take care of other people, and then you have a demanding job that like barely pays you any money, and then on top of that you got to come home, and then like you're in a relationship with this guy who's just like you're fighting a lot, and then your mother is always calling you with these problems, and then you have a best friend who's like really sweet, but they're like kind of needy, and like they kind of codependent, need your energy a lot. And then you got one kid that's like, I don't know, got ADHD, is like running around all the time, and then you just got no time for yourself. Somehow you're supposed to cook food, and there's maybe bills that are going unpaid. It's kind of one of those things that I see. It could also be like maybe you're a student and you have all these classes and things are just getting really overwhelming and you're really worried about your future. Where are you going to go from here? Is this going to be worth it? Oh my God, all these student loans. Whatever is in this satchel here, it can represent whatever, what burdens you're carrying. And there's a lot. It's not just one. There's literally 10 different burdens, you got 99 problems, and, it's hurting you. It could also be that physically you're going through some issues too. It could be health concerns. I found myself getting really stressed recently and I got a couple injuries and was just like, damn, it's crazy. Like what stress can really do to the body. And so this is where you're at right now. Everything is breaking down. Let's see if I can get anything else specifically about you and your situation. Yeah, you're in desperate need for healing and for a change in your situation. You're just going through it, praying for the universe to deliver you, praying for God to deliver you, hoping maybe I'll meet a man who can take care of me, or maybe my relatives will send me some money, or maybe I'll get a big tax return, or maybe I'll just wake up one day and feel better. Maybe my boss will promote me. And the hard thing about this is you keep looking for solutions outside of yourself. You're convincing yourself, I don't have time to change. I'm too exhausted to change. My back hurts or my knee hurts, and so I can't physically go do the thing I want to do. I have all these mouths to feed, so there's just no way. And your guides are saying for you, the first step is healing. You got to get real and realize that your body is breaking down, or emotionally or mentally you're breaking down. I don't know if you took the time to listen to my story that I told in the beginning of this reading, but I talked about how for me the first step was to just kind of pull back from everything and focus on my healing. Well, now I still had like a house to clean. I still had stuff to do. I still had work, but I had to find a way. I had to find a way to go to therapy, to spend time writing, to spend time meditating, to do the healing work. On top of everything else, I had to rework my schedule. There were some people I had to say no to. There was, something's got to give. So this is your first action step, is like, look, don't panic so much about your situation. You're going to be able to make it change. You have to be the change that you want to see. You're going to have to change your habits and your routines. And it can be hard to admit that maybe there's some things that you've done or that you're doing that have caused the situation. You can blame it on your ex-husband, your in-laws, your boss, the government, whatever. And those are some very real factors. But ultimately, it's you that has to take responsibility for this. That was one of the hardest things that I learned in my healing, was just like, damn, no one's going to change this but me. Can't wait for a savior. Can't wait for a knight in shining armor. Funny enough, when you start taking those steps to heal and you at least try, the universe will meet you in the middle and will send you miracles and will send opportunities out of the blue. And we'll maybe send you a knight in shining armor. It happens. The universe is only going to mirror what you're doing. You got to give to get. And so that's where you're at right now, is it's time to get real and focus on your healing. Because if you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always got. And so the message here is you need to take the first step with your healing. I think the easiest thing to start with would be your sleep and your diet. That's easy to have control over. Meal prepping, adding more healthy greens and fruits and vegetables in, drinking more water, having more regular meals. Just from that right there, you're going to feel like you have more energy to accomplish all the tasks that you got to do. Because a lot of times when we're really stressed out, what we turn to is fast food. We turn to lots of foods that make us feel better. If we're struggling financially, sometimes the only thing we feel like we can buy that will treat ourselves is just like junk food and candy and ice cream and crap like that. But that only makes the situation worse. And conspiracy time, sometimes I feel like, it's why all the companies make all that shit and make it so affordable, because it's addictive and because it keeps you down, keeps you a slave to the system forever. So if you want to be rich, you got to eat rich. When you look at people who are extremely wealthy, most of them, at least, they eat in really healthy, organic, foods. Health is wealth. So you got to take back control over that. The next thing would be freeing up your time, when you're not spending so much money on all that fast food and all that stuff, because seriously, that adds up. People always ask, how did you save money to travel the world? I just started cooking from home and eating healthy and shopping at the farmer's market, and all of a sudden I had all this money. I didn't realize how much I was spending out on going out for drinks with my friends and going out to eat, and I don't know, maybe it's just like an America thing, but that's one of the ways I saved money. But anyways, you're going to have extra money and extra resources when you kind of change that, and it'll be just a little bit, but you can use that maybe to get a babysitter 1 day a week so that you can go out and get a massage, or just go to the park and lay on a blanket and take a nap, or so that you can, get the me time, or go out with a friend or something. Really, and you might be like, oh my God, my kids don't see me very much, but it's better that they see you one less day a week, one less afternoon a week, and that you're actually in a good mood and present with them. It could be that you're able to budget things and start seeing a holistic doctor, or actually start, joining a pool so that you can stretch your knee in the pool and relax, or sweat in the sauna or whatever. Join a health club. Maybe get some supplements, whatever, it's you got to figure something out, and there's gonna be a way. So your guides are just saying you got to focus on your healing and on your body right now. And this could also be finally facing emotionally what's been underneath all of these wounds, because you can treat things physically, but there's always an emotional root. And there's this really cool book that's called, I think it's called You Can Heal Your Life, and it has every single part of the body and every single type of ailment you could imagine, and it links it to a spiritual problem or like an emotional problem. And I found that to be really helpful for me. You can even just Google it. Like, I was having issues with my back, and I Googled that and was like, oh shit, that's totally emotionally how I feel right now, what I'm going through. At least when you kind of know the emotional root, then you can dive into it and maybe do some healing work. Another thing you can do is, if you have pain in a certain area of your body, just lay down, relax, breathe, be still. And once you kind of get into that meditative state, you can ask that body part. You can ask it, what do you want me to know? What do you need from me? What am I not seeing? What am I ignoring? Because your body will send you messages, and you'll be surprised. You could get little visions, little flickers, little memories. I don't know if you've ever heard stories about people who are doing like deep hip stretching in yoga, and they'll just cry, or they'll have like an emotional release. Look up online, yoga emotional release. Like, our bodies will store emotions, and sometimes, we need to spend time with them and allow things to open up and heal. And if we just keep plunging through life carrying this pack, and pretending like it's not there, it will flare up, it will get worse. And if you just keep going to the Western doctors, nothing wrong with them, because I've used Western doctors in combination with other stuff, but if you just keep taking pills and, ignoring it, it will get worse. It will release, things will get better when you turn to it. So what I'm seeing here, honestly, is you got to take this pack off. You got to set this burden down. You need to ask for help. You need to hire help. You need to take good care of your body. You need to rest. You need to, it might be like, don't know how you're going to do it with all the bills and everything, but a lot of times when you invest in yourself, you invest in your health and your healing, then money will appear. And for me, back when I was really broke as a joke, trying to, I told the story in the beginning of this reading. I was talking about how, I went to therapy and I was getting help, and it was very hard for me to save that money to invest into that. But because of that, I received more abundance in the long term, because I had actually healed my body and healed my vessel. And Your vessel has everything to do with what you're able to manifest. So if you're treating your vessel like shit, you're not going to manifest good things. It could be part of why you're in this situation. So I guess a little tough love here today, but it's because I just want to see you better. And I know that you're going to do so much better. And, you're going to get the healing that you need. And, people are going to come in your life out of nowhere, honestly, to be the right person to help heal you. I always say you're never alone. The universe always sends somebody. And your guides are also saying that you're ready to go on a new path. Like, you're ready to change this. You're ready to put this pack down. You're ready not to, you're just, ready to let this go. And so I honestly think your action step would just be healing your body, healing your vessel. And that advice actually has come up for a lot of people today. A lot of the other numbers, number 1, number 2, but especially for you to focus on, really focus on your healing. This is a light at the end of the tunnel saying things will change. There will be miracles that will come, but you can't forget that you're the miracle. So let's see if there's anything else that you need to know before we end this message today. Maybe leave this reading on a lighter note. Anything. How weird. Finding. They're directing you to sound healing. Maybe that's an action step for today. Because right now, it might just feel overwhelming to change these habits and focus on the healing. But sound healing is free. So I would suggest that you go on YouTube and just type in root chakra crystal bowls. I think a lot of this for you is root chakra, to be honest. So I would focus on root chakra sound healing, but honestly, full chakra clearing. Have those crystal bowls and those solfeggio or whatever frequencies playing all the time. Healing music. Another YouTube channel I like for healing music is New Meditation, NU Meditation. That channel is amazing. They have 532 HC, music that's designed to be at a specific frequency to help uplift your vibration, to help your brain, to help you release trauma and stress and help heal the body. And I would even suggest to book a sound healing with an actual sound healing practitioner if you can. I actually have done that once and it really helped my body, my pain, my energy levels. It was powerful stuff. So your guides are just find healing music or find music that's going to uplift you. And they're also saying that that's going to help you find your next step. That might just be the first thing that you can do is just sound healing, sound frequency. Watch what you're listening to. Maybe really be gentle with the podcasts and the TV shows, the music and the news, the things that you're bringing in, because you're very sensitive right now. So your guides are saying you need only just the most gentlest, uplifting, sweet, kind, loving information and sounds to come to you. So that would be a good thing to start with. Your guides are also telling you to trust your instincts. You do need to move your path. You do need to move to a new situation. This might be moving to a new apartment or home or moving to a new job. So they are saying you will meet somebody soon who might offer you an opportunity. Someone who's oh yeah, I just moved into this new apartment in this complex. It's so great. And you're oh, maybe I should check that out. It could be somebody who's telling you news about a new job or a new workplace, a new place in town that's hiring. This could also be you have a job interview soon and it's going to help you move your path forward. So there's definitely, like I said, you're never alone. The universe always sends someone. And I think that's what you've been banking on this whole time. But you need to take your little baby steps and the universe will meet you halfway. So wonderful. I hope that this reading resonated with you. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and and ring that notification bell. And I will see you next time. Peace out.